Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days, honey days and funny days, sunny days. You are in my mind almost all the time. You mean so much to me. I love you and you love me. It's plain to see. On these sunny days, we go to the park and play. You can slide and swing, make a new friend. All the time you spend on sunny days. Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days, honey days and funny days, sunny days. All winter long we've longed for sunny days. Wait for the grass to turn green. Birds are singing out their song and we can sing along. Won't you please sing along? Now you sing. Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days, honey days and funny days, sunny days.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Micromotor Workshop. I got lots of projects going. None of them are finished or near a stage where they justify presentation yet. But anyway, I'll run through a few of them to show you where we're at. And yes, it's becoming no, on this side. Summer again. Old issue again. Someone's talking in the background here. Let's stop this guy. So, it is becoming summer again. And yeah, so that's why my good old song is probably gonna be again the song for my first flight video in summer, just scooting around the beaches. So, one of the main reasons why lots of the projects that I plan to work on this weekend are still stuck in limbo is that we have spent the whole weekend in the dojo, getting the kids ready for Sunday's tournament. And then on Sunday, spent the whole day in the Adventist school in Erina. It's a large, nice hall with a good audience ranking, and we had the Central Coast Black Belt Martial Arts Tournament 2016. So the first part of the day until lunch was the kids competing. So there was a main reason for me to go there. My little son was competing there, and man, he meant business. So he went there to win the thing. He was talking about this for weeks, and as it turned out, he was in the back pushing finals with his best friend Ollie. Ollie has probably not a Facebook account yet. I'll give him a surprise. If he at some stage makes one, he might get tagged there. Say, Benedict tagged you in this post from 2016. So yeah, he was. Can't tag him. Can I make a face frame if there's none yet from? I don't know this guy or her. Have been officials from the other Met where nothing was going on, so they're watching the 6-year-old back pushing finals, and yeah, so they both ended up on the podium together. So yeah, a day that they will probably never forget. It was pretty cool. Leon Harkman is on YouTube. Leon Harkman, I gotta check this guy out. Come on, let me enter just name. Leon Harkman. No, it's not Leon Harkman. Damn, how can I tag people who are not on Facebook yet? Damn, I think now it's done. I can't change it anymore. Edit. It's not Leon Harkman. Done. Okay. Well, let's leave this for a later day. Yeah, and then at the end of the day, I was myself competing in the Steam Hammer class, which is novice males, adult males above 80 kilos. So basically, the heavyweight, we don't know how to fight class. We already learned how to punch hard, but we didn't learn how to punch very accurately. So the main job of the referee is make sure that we are not actually knocking each other out, because it's supposed to be a non-contact sport. So you're supposed to hit your opponent 4 inches away from the face. And well, if you've seen me kicking, you know that's pretty difficult to kick as close to his head that the referee gives me the point, but not to take his head off. So I'm glad I and everyone I was up against are still in one piece. Yeah. So we had a good day or good weekend of battling each other, but yeah, not much progress on the microquad front. So everyone has taken his seats by now. What's up, guys? Karate chop, or karate, as I like to say in German, or karate, as people like to say here, or I think as it should be pronounced in Japanese is karate. Yeah, I think a very nice hobby and pastime. You're not only getting fit, but you make a lot of friends and learn to defend your life with your bare hands. So, what the heck is that? It's Peter's MacBook something. You're repairing MacBooks? Good luck, my friend. I dropped some weight? No, unfortunately not. It's probably the shirt. No, I'm more than 90 kilos, so it'll be a long way to compete in the, I don't know how they call it, featherweight class below 80 kilos. Everything's purple again? No, I don't think so. It's a little bit purple over there for some reason, but it's not anywhere near as purple as this cam, which I still haven't fixed yet. B&H sent me an RMA, but I haven't gotten to it yet. What's up, Dennis? I look a bit thinner in the face to me. Well, you can compare this to the last ones. Yeah, that's my theory as well. I get more muscles and my bones are getting heavier. But I'm shedding fat, I believe. That's at least my theory. So yeah, it's pretty hard to go into the ring and fight people for 2 minutes. It requires a lot of fitness. I thought I'd be pretty fit, but yeah, man, after 3 rounds of 2 minutes, it's it's a tough match. So anyway, let's cut right to the meat. So I cover a few things that are prepared in my browser. So I've spoken about this. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me on Facebook or on Vimeo. That's where I post stuff like that. So another sad news from the alien front was reported 4 days ago from Tyler. Some issues with alienflight.com this morning. Page will not load. And indeed, whiteness receives us when we visit alienflight.com. What shame. So, according to Michael, Lance left the project. What a shame. Well, feels like a deja vu to me on one hand, but on the other, well, every time I hear this, I think, well, now it's over. And yeah, my last personal contact with Lance was a long time ago on let me have a look. Oh, this is the other account. Oh yeah, this that you have shut down your website and say please do not resuscitate. I don't know what that word means, but it seems final. Sounds like do not resurrect. That was in January. So then things came up again, and they had this nice hex flight controller produced, and now things are over again. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, the statement of Michael and the fact that the site is still down. Yeah, I think it's a sad day, my friends, for the alien movement, for the alien invasion. But yeah, I have some history here for you. Look at that. I didn't close this page since I have other way around. Since I have showed it to you, opened the page up on last week or the weeks before live stream. So yeah, look at it. Still there on my screen. Let's do file, save page as. Oh no, I already did that. Let's do it again, just to be safe. Just to be safe. Downloads. So I have it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share this, but I have it. Yeah, sad day, my friends. But yeah, no doubt about that. The aliens will live on. There's nothing that Lance can do, and I think also nothing that he wants to do to stop us doing this. But yeah, if you do, Lance, it would be nice if you communicate to us. Otherwise, what I'm doing, I think and I hope, is in your interest and in your favor. But yeah, if you ever want to work with me, Lance, again, contact me. Let's work something out. But yeah, so it sucks. I'd rather see you, Lance, benefiting from the things you have given birth to. Yeah, or the Wayback Machine. You can check that mullet. Gary Baines has come on board and worked with Michael Jacob. That's good to hear. Ready to fly quads. These people who make parts which are further from ready to fly than most other things. Lance is the man. Sigh. Were any files hosted there that were of any importance that aren't available anywhere else? Well, the most important thing for the website for me was to give back credit to Lens and say, this is where I got the design from. So yeah, I have to rebuild my product page a little bit in order to provide some information and the download for the firmware. But yeah, father from RTF. Ready to pinch you over. Yeah, I know it's your favorite, Pedro. I know this. I love how you always get worked up so much about the sleaze bags. So yeah, but on a happy note about this topic, look what came in the mail just minutes ago. A parcel from the Netherlands. Thank you, Rob. I'm gonna open this up in a second. After I have been talking about some of the stuff on my table here, works quite effectively to have kind of a bucket list of stuff. So in my preparation of this live stream, I just clean up my working area here, and everything I want to talk about I dump on this table here. So one thing I wanted to talk about, not so related, but some of you might be interested in that. Spoken a few times about my favorite knife, which is a Milwaukee Fastback, very solid knife, which takes standard, what they're called, Stanley utility knife blades. So I purchased a huge pack of them, like 200 or so, and well, I'm cutting a lot of cardboard, so I went through them like, well, you cut 2 or 3 boxes apart, and then one side of them is dull, so you turn it around and use the other side for a handful of cuts, and then they're dull. Kind of annoyed me, so I was looking for solutions to sharpen them, and there's a lot of bullshit out there. If you actually want to sharpen them properly, like with most knives, you gotta do it by hand. And so I bought this thing here. It's an Easy Lab knife sharpening diamond stone with 2 sides, fine 600 grit on this side and super fine 1200 on the other side, and that's pretty good to sharpen more sorts of knives, from my butcher knives to X-Acto knives to utility knives. Works really well. You should use some oil on this. But yeah, since my wife used to be a dentist back in the land, I have some of this oils. I don't know exactly what oil to buy. It's just some specific, very fine oil you can put on there to, I don't know, I was told I should do this to protect the stone. So that's what I'm doing. So my knife is nice and sharp. So I used it this morning to cut a few boxes apart. So I'll turn it around to sharpen it up. Cut up this thing here. Oh yeah, Madman. Carpenters, yeah, I'm a professional box opener. There's a super funny guy on YouTube called Mad Mark. Mad, when you're watching this, big props to your videos. And yeah, it's so funny. He opens the boxes and he struggles like crazy because I don't know, for some reason he refuses to use any tools. So John and I are making fun of him by packing his boxes that he orders from us like crazy, and then watch him on his YouTube channel struggling like crazy. But yeah, good stuff, Mark. Love watching your videos. Packing slip from Micro FPV telling me that I get product name Alien Flight F3V2. 4 of them come in this nice little box, much smaller than I thought. Looking at the box online and thought it's huge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rob messaged me. Oh, wow, I hit the bin. Rob messaged me after sending them out to me and said we had a few issues with empty alien head boxes. He said he hopes that it's not one of mine. So I'll check if there's some in there at all. Oh, here's one. Oh, cool. Here's one too. Here's one too. So that's 3 out of 4 already. And yeah, there's number 4. So look at it. First thing that came out is a cable. Nice quality silicon cable. This one's a little stiffer wire. And then here's another lossy pigtail. Also a little stiffer. Stays like that when you bend it. And then here's some other wire with a micro JST plug. I assume there's a 5-volt out, so you're supposed to connect this to your FPV gear to connect it up here. So let's see what we get. Nice little anti-static pouch. Sealed. There we go. Yeah, sorry, my close-up camera is not set up, so I can't get much closer without losing focus. That's around it. That's the anything closer to that goes out of focus. So there's a little micro FPV icon on the back. Oh, that's a sticker. It's a sticker which says QC Pass. So let's see, something underneath the sticker. Sorry, Rob. I know you love stickers. I love to see what's underneath stickers. In this case, nothing. It says F3 Hexa brushed V2. You can change the receiver voltage from 3.3 to 5 volts. And there's a pre-soldered connection by the looks of it. The ones we made, we closed this bridge manually. So and then there's some, is it supposed to be pulled off? some yellowish stuff. I think you're supposed to pull this off on the little two pin 2-dip switch unit here. I think one is to access the boot part of the board, and the other one is to bind. Then you have your 6 motor outputs, power in, receiver out, and one additional plug, which I assume is 5 volts out. Very nice. I'm gonna build some hex copters soon. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Michael. It's been a long time. I've been bugging Lance like crazy. Maybe that's the reason that he didn't want to speak to me anymore. After getting 2 hex boards of him and not being very happy with the multi-flight boards. Oh, that's probably my mistake, but I just always had better luck with Lance's boards. So I was bugging him to get more hex boards. That was 2 years ago, I think, 1.5 at least. Feels way longer to me, but you know, IT years and dog years are already shorter than normal years, but I feel microquad years are even shorter. I feel we went through a whole age of technology in 2.5 years. So back to the chat room we go. The Amp Hour. Watch Dave's interview with Louis Rossman on the Amp Hour. Not sure what that is, but yeah, I'll give it a go later on. I can't wait until Micromotor Warehouse has those SAT cables available. Yeah, they're not here yet because Australia Post delivering stuff late since 1806. Severe Mac fetish is happening. Yeah. Let's see for how long the spirit of Stevie is still attached to the apples. It's kind of interesting to see the new innovation in the iPhone 7. Plug that bitch in and fly it. Well, I guess that will stretch my available time here. Fire it up. I really want to build a micro hex as nuggets. Yeah, I think you've just not been on time, Mr. Alien Locator. I hope you've been on time for me to locating these aliens, right? There's still some more. Let's have a look how many he still has left. He's so nice to put his micro FPV, his stock count on the website. I stopped doing that because people were abusing it, checking how much I have, see what's going well, see what they should copy. Flight controller. That's why, and just as a warning, all the stock information on Micromotor Warehouse is, for the most part, not what we have in stock. We usually have a lot more. Stock 27. Yeah, so not selling really well. I think that's because of the price. What is that in US dollars? I didn't check. Well, 112. It's not too bad actually. So, $60. That's right on par, right? Yeah, I think that's what you have to charge for a flight controller in order to provide some warranty and service and support. That's where the majority of the cost is. Plus Yeah, part quality and assembly quality. There was an um, interesting thread about the cheap little thing here. The the East China machine, tiny 32 bits. Moon flight controller from Banggood. And the interesting part is, if you look at this close-up picture here, wow. uh, so just look at this. Is that intentional? Is that part of the design that you bridge this whatever thing is here? I don't know what that is to this. I think that's a resistor, right? So you have like a messy solar bridge in here. Yeah, so this is what you get for 16 bucks, and they are not even trying to hide this. So you would think that they would at least make one good one and then post pictures of that, but no, this is like soldered with, I don't know, if I can't solder, I would rather not do it instead of doing that. I have my doubts that this thing is actually going to work. What else is happening on the flight controller front? Well, what frame? Is someone asking about the frame? No, let's go in order. So, what party are you referring to? Alien party or this party here? Bucket list of crap. A 3D printer. Yeah, a 3D printer is a nice tool, but just be warned, it's a time sink as well. It's a whole hobby in itself. When will Dr. Ben start carrying these? You mean the micro hex boards? I don't know. As long as micro FPV is having them and selling them, I'm happy with that. I won't jump the queue. If there's some assistance required, my friend Rob, Michael, Gary, always happy to help you out. We have a pretty good distribution system going. So I'm as dry as that dingo's donger over here, says Pedro. What dry? In terms of flight controllers? No. In terms of flight controllers, Pedro's home is an oasis, and as I heard, you don't even have to do today because, sorry, my friend, I think you hurt your hand. Is that right? Hope you get well soon. And Locator's green now. Welcome to the parties of the greenies, my friend. Hey Nuggets, what's up with you? And Pedro, why are you still white? So yeah, if some of the greenies could invite the remaining whiteys into the party, so I know they're all trusted members of the club. So yeah, please let them in if you might, my fellow greenies. So I need a Mr. Rubble frame. I actually do. Phil, I need some more. I think you progressed since you sent me the last ones. They look nice. Yeah, what I plan to use is the old creation of my buddy Torsten at Smart Shapes. Just the standard carbon fiber hex plate that works with all the parts from the H-frames. So you can use the same accessory plate and the same motor mounts, the same standoffs, the same screws. And he also recently made this nice camera mount to go on there with a shortened accessory plate. And this even swivels from 90 to minus 90 degrees. So whatever you want to, I'll probably set this at around 20 or 30 degrees. The heavier a thing is, the less angle it seems to need to get up to speed. So for flying around the yard, you probably don't need much of an angle. But if this works well, I think I'm gonna compete again at our local races. I think there's no rule against flying a hex. And even though it's not much faster, I think, than a quad, it always seemed to feel a lot more locked in. You know, more props to turn gives the flight controller more authority. So yeah, I like hexes and octocopters as well, but I feel hex is kind of the sweet spot. So yeah, looking forward to build that. Yeah, Dennis, I don't want to speculate. I just don't know. I don't know what Lance is doing. As I said, he stopped talking to me a while ago. I don't know why. Yeah, no headphone jack. I'm not sure if Steve would have approved that, but apparently it's a logical and courageous decision to remove the headphone jack out of the iPhones, because it saves so much space that you now can put in an accurate altimeter and haptic feedback engine for the button. Well, I don't know how many people there are who would prefer accurate altimeter and haptic feedback on their phone instead of a usable headphone jack. Of course, they are wireless headphones. I'm still using wired headphones because they just work better and are always charged. How are the brushless variants at $30? What? I don't know. It's a diode and a cap. Oh, thank you, Mullet. Thanks for educating me. Is that supposed to be bridged? Yeah, you can, of course, you can buy one of these dodgy ones and reflow them yourself. But I think you're better off just buying the parts then. Well, if that's been sold by a kid, I'm pretty impressed. But yeah, you shouldn't have kids soldering. It's dangerous. Not so much that you can burn yourself, you learn this pretty quickly, but you're inhaling all this stuff if you don't do it properly. So, Abducted Tech also has one. Oh wow, this is an alien brushless hex. Wow. Have fun with that, my friend. It can make a pretty powerful machine. Pedro, I know. You'll be after him. So, the mini greenies. What's up, Box? Make him green, my friends.
Make him green. Box is also
a member of the club. Box, Nuggets, and Uck. I even know Box in person. He's the donator of the East China Machine E101, no, 010 that I did. My video of annoying the tradies with. Thank you, Box. Always appreciate the innovation you bring through my door. So yeah, it's I haven't figured out yet. I assume I did it in the beginning because I created this this account here on Discord. So additive, I spawned a bit of greeniness, and now I expect you to pass it on. So yeah, if someone knows how to make people green, please let us know. Yeah, Pedro and his hidden personalities are everywhere on the net. What's going on there? The cockatoos are riding in. Shizo, Mr. Shizo. Yeah, wired. Wired is always better if you want to do anything real time. Wi-Fi is not good. It's not good for transmitting audio and video in real time. Complacent is the only one that can make people admins? Yeah, that sounds like Bodo. How can I make people admins? Add admin. Did you make a typo? It doesn't seem to be the way it works. Mute, change nickname, kick, block, ban, roles. Click on roles, nothing's happening. Profile. Add for friends, add note, blah blah blah. Block, message. How can I add instant permissions? Permissions, roles, members. Everyone, roles, admin. So I added you here. Gonna help anything? Roles, admin. Is that empowering you, my friends? When I do that? General permissions. Create invites, manage channels, manage permissions, read, blah blah blah. You can do whatever you want to. Just don't delete the whole thing or ban or kick people who don't deserve it. Dennis, Alpencraft FP. Yeah, I assume you're all trustworthy people in here. I just don't remember every one of you, so I'm just clicking those that I immediately recognize, and you spread on the love, okay? So, is that enough already? Nuggets, mullet. Let's leave this for now. So, no intent intended by those that I didn't green yet. Pedro, did you become green of this activity? So, yeah. We can just feel stupid together, my friend. So yeah, but let's move on. I only have 17 minutes left. I still have a few messages to pass on to you. So there is the Inductrix FPV coming out, and one of the things I noted by looking at the webpage is it doesn't have a circular antenna anymore, but it's using a dipole antenna. Now, by looking further into the specs of the Inductrix FPV, it looked suspiciously like the transmitter on the Nano QX2. So I'm interested in figuring out how good is the performance of a dipole antenna, because that's what I used in the very beginning of my FPV career until people told me, no, this is not how we do it. we use circle antennas because of the multipathing. So since then, I started using circle antennas, and things got better. And now Horizon Hobby comes out with these quads which have only dipole antennas because it's such a hassle to keep the circle antennas in shape on the micros. And everyone jumps on the bandwagon. So I'm wondering, is that not true anymore? Is linear antennas, are they finally, eventually good enough to fly? So I made this guy here, which is a parrot frame with the usual ingredients. Alien weave light controller plus 8mm motors and parrot props. And I have put that camera here to the front. It's quite nice. It swivels at least a little bit. The wires are restricting the movement a little bit. But yeah, I can get it from like 40 degrees to 70 degrees, somewhere between. So yeah, if you put it to 70, you really have to keep pushing it and just have it belting around the corners in order to not look in the sky all the time. It's pretty fun to fly. I have already noticed that the reception quality isn't that good, but as with my circle antennas, but with the clear view receiver, which I have stuck my ready-made RC DVR to, it actually works okay. But yeah, I want to see a real comparison, split screen comparison between this guy and this guy, which is pretty much the same quad, just with a different camera on there. Just this camera here, the East China Machine QX90 camera. Pretty nice. It does have dip switches to change the frequencies, which I prefer over some other fancy method of doing it, because it's predictable. You can switch it to the right thing before you even switch it on. And it runs PAL, which I think is nicer than NTSC, which I heard stands for never the same color. And that's, yeah, I think also the main difference. You know, when I see people talking about PAL, NTSC, there's two main reasons they argue about. One is if one thing is only working in America or in Japan or whatever, that's totally irrelevant. At least in our, you know, if you're not running a TV of your 30-year-old wall socket, it doesn't matter in what region you are in. Just have to buy the compatible counterparts for it. And the second reason is people talk about the resolution and the frame rate. You know, NTSC has slightly less resolution and slightly higher frame rate over PAL, but I don't think that really matters. What actually does matter is the color representation of PAL is better, so I prefer PAL cameras. And until now, all the little cams that we used to hoop, they're all NTSC. So I'm planning to compare this PAL camera to, which is the same like on this guy here. So I plan to compare these two. The video transmitter, which I assume is the one that's going to be used in the Inductrix FPV, compared to some other PAL transmitter running a cloverleaf antenna, which should give two different results. At first, the image quality, how much better color representation do you get out of PAL, and second, how much better video reception do you get out of a circular polarized antenna. So yeah, that was actually my plan to do this this morning, but I didn't finish the setup because of some bits and pieces missing. Because as an additional layer of investigation on that front, I'm also planning to use this Clearview Pro receiver, and compare this at the same time to this FR632 receiver, which costs around 10% of this guy here. So yeah, lucky I had some spare rubber duckies. Yes, just to show you the extent of my FPV obsession. These are just some of the rubber duckies that I have collected over time. Maybe there's a use for them in the future. You never know. So I parked them all in some box. And I finally found a use for 4 of them, I believe. So yeah, that's next on the list. It's probably takes me a little bit more time to prepare all this, and when I'm done with that, I will do one of these videos where I am doing a live stream and try to work it out in that time, and then afterwards cut the recording to an easier digestible length with maybe a couple of overlays and additional information on the screen. So, new messages. Where's new messages? There's no new message indicator because I didn't close the window. Boring black. What's boring black? I'm missing the reference. It was already 6 minutes ago. Pedro don't want to be green. I'm sorry. What the? So the Pedro V kicks ass. I recently got what looked like darks from someone on RC groups. They had no Pico Blade connectors. Is that how darks used to be? So very back in the days, yes, we used to sell a couple of motors without plugs, but I completely stopped doing that because I figure who wants to have plugs is much happier if plugs are already on there, and who doesn't want to have plugs can just cut them off. So I put plugs on everything. How is the cam mounted to the Parrot to get it to swivel? Well, that's a good question. It's actually very easy. I was surprised about how easy it is. Do I still have the... I had a second one. Where did I put it? That's a problem with all these micro parts. They disappear so quickly. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So when you screw the Nano QX2 apart, you get this canopy off, and this camera here is mounted somehow in here like that. So actually quite well protected in here, and it swivels just a little bit. So you remove 3 screws on this triangle here, and you have this swivel mount. It's mounted here and then swivels. No, not 90 degrees, just 45 degrees. You can Dremel out a little bit of this plastic part here, then it swivels even more. And so then I just take a little bit of this prong here off, drill a few holes in there and zip tie the swivel mount to the frame. So I'm not sure if you can see it because I've chosen all black. Here's one zip tie around the top part of the arm, then one through the hole I drilled, and the other one around the arm. And then it fits really nice, and it's quite protected. You know, in theory, you can hit the camera by crashing upside down, but yeah, I crashed it a few times quite well. I wouldn't say not a scratch, but it still works. So yeah, that's how you put the cam on there. FR632 is Mr. Rubble's favorite. Yeah, I think for the price, very hard to beat. Diversity is overrated. I think so too. Needs some special application to actually make use of diversity. Clear view, well, you can get them for $500 if you buy the racing version, which in terms of video quality is not anything less. Just a couple of features which you probably don't need. Yes, Mr. Nuggets. This part of this little camera swivel thing does not come with the camera, so you can buy the camera module from Horizon Hobby just by itself, which I wouldn't because it's expensive and not very good. But you can buy it separately. What you don't get though is the swivel mount thing. You only get that if you buy the Nano QX2, I believe, which well, not sure if I should say unfortunately, but I bought it and I learned something from it. And I have some parts salvaged from it. But yeah, so apart from that, not too happy. If you follow my posts on Facebook, I recently caught this thing to fly like a shot pig. Some people thought it's funny. And the reason I said this, if you punch it, or if you shoot it, it screams and runs off in a different direction. That's at least, I've never been a farmer, but that's, I imagine, what pigs do. If you punch or shoot them. And that's what the Nano QX2 is doing. It's not screaming that much, but it's punching off in a random direction. It's one of the issues what most Blade FCs have. If you give them full throttle, they don't fly straight. Actually, the Inductrix FPV, they have a look. They made some comments on that on some website, which I thought was funny. Inductrix FPV, Horizon Hobby. They made some improvement, which sort of said we fixed the wonkiness. Overview. Engineered, FPV equipped. Oh look, high performance motors they have now. 14,300 kV. I wonder how they found that out. Improved flight controller, here we go. We have tweaked the flight control system for better control in stability mode by allowing pitch to be applied even if the user demands, even if full throttle is full. So yeah, let's just try to understand the sentence. Allowing pitch to be applied even if the user demands, even if full throttle, if throttle is full. So I thought Horizon Hobby would be a company with English-speaking people. Or maybe it's just my problem and the sentence makes sense. But yeah, what I read out of this is you can give full throttle and then you still can pitch the quad. Well, that's a great improvement. I really love, it's not exactly what I think the problem was, but if you can still pitch the quad, if you apply full throttle, that's great. What I found instead is if you hit full throttle, it just applies extra pitch. So, oh no, maybe they're right. Yeah, so, well, usually, if you fly a quad, you don't want to apply full throttle by being straight, but you want to pitch it and then apply full throttle. And that's what usually just goes off. So yeah, this thing does not fly straight under full throttle at all. By this I mean the Nano QX2 and the Nano QX and then Ductrix and the 180QX and probably some more. So it seems to be an inherent feature in all the past Blade flight controllers. But now they have an improved one, which allows pitch to be applied even if the user demands, even if throttle is full. That's awesome. And agility mode is better too. Well, that was pretty much unflyable before, so I'm glad that it's now much more controllable. Thank you, Blade. The Clearview is now $400. That's great. I don't think they will get much lower, but in relation and making if FPV is your happy place, making this looking a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot nicer price tag. I'm gonna tell you, I have been impressed, like I have been with very few other companies, when it comes to actually listening to their customers and improving their products over firmware updates and lots of other little things. Just as a side note, I bricked one of my receivers by, I assume, interrupting the power connection while flashing it, and they have sent me a new one. Well, exchanged it, and I didn't even pay shipping. Well, I did them a favor and ordered another receiver so they could put this in there, but they included a free return label with that. So yeah, they fixed me up pretty well, and they've also gone to great length to take on board all the issues I reported in terms of video reception issues. And they improved this for everyone by releasing new firmware updates, which is pretty awesome. Quite a few people on the track have now bought these things, and we are now permanently using them on the racetrack. I think they're a great addition to making FPV flying and FPV events in particular fun for everyone. Nuggets notices weird things on full throttle with the hoop. Seems like I don't get enough pitch. Yeah, so now you can allow pitch to be applied even if the user demands full throttle is full. Nuggets retained the use of the battery bay on his Parrot. Thank you, Blade, for scratching out the identifying marks on all the chips. Yeah, I noticed that too. It's kind of funny. So that is retaining the battery compartment on the Parrot. So that's cool. So what battery are you putting in there, Mr. Nuggets? The Yellow Jacket 5.8 Pro is $529. I wouldn't buy that. That's the old stuff. I would buy the Iftron tag. I would buy the Clearview racing receiver. Their website is, don't want to say it out too loud, but not so good. Ira, if you think the website can need some improvements, I might have some tips for you. But yeah, right now it's a little bit tricky to purchase something from here or get a good impression. So I know the stuff is good. That's why I recommend it despite the website. So here's the Clearview racing receivers. It says $0. You have to scroll all the way through this text here, which by the way contains some useful information, but somewhere to the bottom here. You have to go to actually find out what's going on and what you have to pay. So you can get the racing receiver without antennas for $399.95. You can get it with 2 VIN antennas, which is their lollipop antennas, which I think are pretty good. But I only use them in the race environment where a highly directional antenna is actually of advantage. At home, I just use regular mushroom antennas. So yeah, you don't necessarily need them, although $80, $78 for 2 of them is actually not a bad price. So if you want to have directional antennas, and they're very directional, they really block out the signal from the back quite nicely. If you want that, I think $78 for 2 of these antennas is actually not too bad. But yeah, so you have to, enter 1 here, and then scroll up here and click Add to Cart. This is not very user-friendly, but it works. So I ordered a few times from them. They are a very reliable company, and yeah, I have no hesitations recommending them. The video quality of this receiver is awesome, and the people are great. Things are being developed. What you should note is that it doesn't have the options on here anymore. You need to have specific cables to connect this thing. It has standard 3.5mm 4-pole TRSS audio video jacks, 2 of them, 2 outputs, but these are with a slightly different polarization. So you need either one of these if you want to connect it straight to your... Damn, did I click this? Go back. These converter cables, $5, or I'm using these. They just put that signal out to 3 RCA jacks, and then you can plug whatever other converter you want into that. But yeah, if you want to have it nice and convenient, they just added this to the site after I purchased mine. Otherwise, I probably would have bought these too. Yeah, so you need their cables. So I recommend to get a bunch of these because they're unique. You can't get them anywhere else. I don't know why they have decided to change that over the somewhat standard, but well, I don't know this exactly. There's different standards, and they have decided on one of them or made up their own. I don't know, but yeah, always be careful with these 4-pole TRSS connectors. Most of them are in somewhat different configuration, and it's very difficult to figure this out by trial and error, and you end up with like a messy glued soldered blob. So if you use these receivers, you need one of their cables, but you can use whatever antennas. I found them to work really well with all sorts of antennas, and the primary antenna I'm using on them is just the VAS, IB Crazy, Bluebeam, Ultra, Crazy Mushroom, Air Screw, whatever they're called, antennas. These here, I heat up the stems, bend them to 90 degrees, and then pop them onto the receiver. Clyde is green, but it's actually, oh, he's green. All right, that's something different, right? Because you're still white, Clyde. Madman has a flight controller. What is that? It looks like a Nano QX flight controller with a JST PH connector. Is that right? Looks somehow a little bit smaller. What the heck is that? 750 or 720 Amazon specials. That's what Nuggets is putting into this thing. Yeah, I like to have it underneath, but yeah, if you can make it slide properly without touching anything on the flight controller, bending any wires, you might be able to use existing battery compartment of the Parrot. I just like to strap things underneath. Doesn't touch the floor too much either, so that's alright. Yeah, the nanotechs don't fit in there after they puffed a little bit, which happens quite quickly, at least on all 100 I had. They have too many options. So you posted that to show how they scratch off the identifiers of the chip. See here. And yeah, here too. Yeah, it's paranoia, probably justified. Nuggets added the plate, separate the FC from the bat. Yeah, that's a smart move. So, already over time, so let me quickly finish off what I have on the table here. There's not much left, two things. One of them is this guy here. 7mm jewelry hoop. So this is a frame from Racon Heli. I became aware of that when Racon Heli purchased a whole bunch of 7mm motors from me. So I went on their website and see what's going on there, and voila, they have a 7mm hoop. So, just for reference, including motors and props and frame, but with no flight controller and battery and receiver, it weighs 23 grams. It has 3 bladed props, also from Racon Heli. I was hoping that it's big enough to fit an Alienware flight controller. You know, Alien and hoops combined, dreams come true. Oh no, they didn't. It doesn't fit. It's made for the original Inductrix flight controller. There's some standoffs or rubber grommet things included to screw it on here. So I'm planning to mount this underneath like that, so I can stick it flat against the frame, and then somehow make a contraption to fit the battery on top of the flight controller. As you can see, there's a lot of space between the FC and the feet, so the battery will not touch the floor, which is not such a big deal. Batteries don't take much damage by being crashed. But I just like to have things sit level when I put it down. It's much easier to calibrate. That's the main reason. But there's a print a little few, I don't know, some sort of standoffs here to mount the battery in between ground and flight controller. Look at that. This carbon fiber in between is quite flexible. I think that's a good thing. I hope. And I hope the ducts are not as flexible as on my other Racon hoop. Yeah, they bend when you fly like a madman and crash like a madman. So I plan to fly this quite carefully. The aluminium, it's quite heavy for what it is. I'd prefer CNC Delrin, aka polyoxymethylene. That's a good material for this. Why don't you use that? That's already used in the industry for 10 or 20 years. Let's not use aluminium for this anymore, please. But yeah, I've seen it. I had to have it. I actually enjoy putting them together. it's like a puzzle. It's quite challenging to put all these little screws in there. But yeah, it's kind of fun listening to the Tech Guy podcast and fumbling this thing together here. I think I did this on Friday night, when I remember correctly. So, yeah, thanks to Jacob and lots of other smart people on the Micromotor community forums and on the AlienWii fan club on Facebook. I now know what to do in order to mount what I have to do to mount this thing upside down. Just a couple of sensor changes in the code, which I just in time downloaded from alienflight.com a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, just a few changes in the sensor code, and then I should be able to stick this underneath. So yeah, that's my next Hoop and Alien project combined. And also, one slow boat arrived and brought me these extensions. They're not on the website yet, but they will be shortly. Once John got his replacement load, because we got some that have been incorrectly wired. There's only one thing that you can do wrong by wiring them up, but that's what they did. Reversed the polarity on one of the plugs. So this is I don't know how this plug is called. It looks almost identical to the plugs that we have on, not sure, you probably can't see the difference. They look very similar, but you might be able to tell. This one here is slightly bigger than this one here. And that is the plug which is supposed to be plugged in this high-tech charger. X4 micro multi-charger from high-tech, originally made by Sky RC and made red and with the high-tech logo by high-tech. Apart from that, they have taken the flaw what this thing has, in my opinion, which is it does not have the most popular little plug for micro batteries like. Do I have an E-Flight one? Oh, sorry, I don't know where my original E-Flight batteries are. They are resting in peace somewhere. I'm using these, which have the same plug like all the Nano QX, Nano CPS, Nano Inductrix, whatever batteries. If you plug them into this charger, the plugs are different enough to destroy the little connectors on here. So I was recommending this charger for quite some time, and I'm using, well, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I have 4 of them to feed my habits, and I destroyed a lot of batteries with them because I didn't know. So, and lots of people have bought this charger on my recommendation. And it works great if you have the right connector. So I felt the responsibility to fix that. And Boris at my LiPo suggested that he could make the right cables. So I said, yep, let's do it. So the first load of them arrived. That's, I don't know, 50 or 100 of them. Will come in packs of 4 for a couple bucks. I don't know, I have to check, maybe $5 or $6. And on one side is that funny MX plug, and on the other side is a micro JST 1.25 millimeter jack, which allows you to plug these little batteries in. And it looks like a bit like a pot of spaghetti afterwards, but at least you don't ruin your battery. And what's actually quite nice about it, if I could remember where I've put it. Hang on one sec. Little battery holders here. So you just park them all in there, and usually you had to take them out to stick them in here. But now I can just take the spaghettis and connect them all up here. So I have one charger charging this block from this side and one from the other. So I can charge 16 packs individually at the same time, but also I realized that's quite an investment. Just charge a couple micro packs. So we will also have different charging cables. We already have the parallel charging cables. Like these here. But yeah, this means that you're always charging 4 packs at the same time. I just like to, whenever I take a battery out, plug it immediately back on the charger, press the button, take a full one and keep flying. This way you can keep the circle up. Stay in the loop. Yeah, so what I plan to do once all the other stuff arrives, which is, well, actually I'm still only waiting for the serial charging cables. So I made some up a while ago myself, but my LiPo is making them too, and he said they're not selling at all in Germany. People don't like them in Germany. It's actually quite useful to charge using the balance plug to charge every pack individually, because then you can charge 4, 6 or however many cells your charger is capable of charging, plus whatever cable you made up, charge them at the same time on a regular hobby charger and have all the cells voltage controlled individually. I think that's a smart idea. But yeah, I'll do a comparison video of all, well, how many do we have? 4 different charging methods. The first is use the supplied ready to charge RTF charging dongle. Second, use the high-tech ones. Third, use a parallel charging cable, or you can use just one, just solder one bullet connector to a micro charging lead, but then you can only charge one at a time, which is really not that satisfying with these micro batteries when they only last 2 minutes. So you want to charge a lot of them at the same time, ideally. And third will be then serial charging. So I'll compare all this and see what works best. But I think the most convenient is to have a lot of these and just charge them individually. So quickly back to the chat room, and then I have to continue. I'm late. I'm an hour late already. So more power hoop. What controller fits? Well, the original one fits. And the B brain. I got message that bee brains are coming my way shortly. So what about a 3D printed adapter? What do you mean, on the 7mm hoop? Yeah, that's what I plan to do. On top? Nah. Well, yeah, you could do that too, I guess. But nah, that's probably not on top. Then the flight controller sticks up on top. No, I'd rather have it underneath. Build it in a different way. Alien hoop will conquer the world. That's right, Phil. The charger, I think it's even 1.5mm pitch. And also a different shape of the pins. The pins on the micro JST 1.25 plugs are supposed to be flat, and those on the MX plug are round. What's the best way to charge 4 batteries at the same time? Well, best is relative. I think the most convenient is this setup. High-tech X4 charger plus spaghetti extension. Run this out of 110 to 240 volts. So, if you're traveling, just take the plug out of your shaver. If you take one, I usually travel without shaver. So, just 10 days. It needs to shave in 10 days. Just use that. Take that instead of the shaver. You can charge your batteries on the go, or if you're in the field with a 3-cell pack, just made an adapter, or charge this off your car, power outlet or whatever. Very convenient chargers. I really like them. Although it's not High-Tech's IP. I learned the blue ones, Sky RC, that's where they come from. But they probably just bought it from another company and slapped their name on as well. So yeah, there are different ways of doing it. And yeah, I'll talk in further details about this when I received Aussie Post my serial charging cables. Yeah, so if you parallel charge, you don't balance them. You basically treat all the batteries like one big one. But yeah, I'll blab about this in infinite detail when it's time. Angry bees. Yeah, I think the angry bees motors are angry because he had some trouble sourcing them off my supplier. That's why they're angry bees. I don't know if they're any good. I think he buys them from the same supplier, but he just buys whatever they have left. I think he doesn't even read the spec sheets of the motors. But maybe, but yeah, I'm busy enough testing the motors I receive myself. I can't do all the work for all the other motor pop-up shops. They should post some info, some flight info, some details about the motors, and not, well, if that's not what they want to do. I like to provide info about the stuff I sell. I like to only sell stuff that actually works well. I had a few things that I saw that it didn't work well. I manned up to it and stopped doing it. And once the supply is established by someone else, I'm not so much interested. I prefer to sell things that aren't existing yet. Make up new things. 130. Yeah, so I have some theories which I tried to prove, which didn't work out on the equalization of voltages across spontaneously temporary created multi-cell parallel packs. I'll get to this later again, after I worked out what I actually wanted to say. So that's it. Any last questions? Otherwise, I have to move on. I'm far behind with support tickets, thanks to punching and kicking on the weekend. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that people state an absolute RPM of the motors. Doesn't make sense. I know that's what the manufacturers usually give you, but that doesn't make sense either. You need to put this in relation, my friends. If you're selling motors and want to state the speed, it's stated in RPM per volts. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. If you're only publishing the absolute speed, not making sense. You either need to specify the kV rating or the reference voltage. So if I see someone specifying only an absolute RPM on any motor, that means they just copied and pasted the info that they got from the manufacturer, or that they just don't know, just want to post something. Because, in the past, people didn't even post that number. But now they post it. But yeah, it doesn't make sense if you are giving, not giving a reference voltage. Reference voltages can vary between 2 and 4 volts. So this can be either 47 by 2. It would be a 23,500 kV motor, pretty fast. Could also be 4 volts and a 12,000 kV motor, pretty slow. So it literally says frigging nothing. Yeah, that's true, Madman. They will equal each other out to a degree. Yeah, I think
that's it for today.
Thanks for watching, my friends. What's that? Open for inspection. I'm inspecting houses, and so I thought, oh, is it open for inspection? No, it's not open for inspection. It's opened for inspection by the biosecurity. Your goods
have been screened and inspected by the Department of Agriculture.
Oh, really? They didn't find anything suspicious with these alien brains. They just gave them to me. Thanks, Madman. Thanks, Mullet. And everyone else hanging here out with me. I'm sorry that I didn't really provide much useful content today. I was just blobbing on. Yeah, I need a little bit time to recover and prepare some fun content here. Mullet thought it was about PID tuning. No, that was last week. So you still can watch the recording of that. The main thing I was doing yesterday week was putting that little bit of manual PID tuning code into the Alien Flight Buzz code. So, yeah, today I thought, I was thinking about canceling it because I didn't really have an agenda. But then I thought, yeah, let's just hang out with my digital friends around the world here for an hour before I get back to the hard yakka. Kiai. Yeah, so some of you might know this is the name of the war cry you're supposed to do in martial arts. But it's just the name of it. You shouldn't say Kiai. You should make the sound out of your diaphragm. So it doesn't matter what sound you make, as long as it's loud and scary and releases air. Yeah, please, if you have more questions, post them in relation to the Alien Wii Flight Controller. Post them in the related interactive annual Alien manual. I will rework the product description during the following week in order to adjust for the sad changes we have experienced. Yeah, the domestic quality control unit is still fun. It's not killable. I crashed this thing so many times. Talking about the East China Machine, E-Chine, E010.
East China Machine E010.
It's a very nice flexible frame. A little heavier, but indestructible, I think. So yeah, you can watch the recording of this. I've decided to leave the recordings up there, even though some of them I watched a few of my own ones of these streams afterwards, the recording of them. Sometimes the quality isn't that good, and I've seen, for example, in the last one there was like a gap, just jumped for a couple minutes, and I remember that was when people reported problems during the stream as well. So in the future, especially when I have a little bit more of a structured agenda, I will press the record button here, then delete the recording what YouTube does automatically of the stream, and do a little bit of editing. So that's it. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll see if I can dig out some nice tunes. Oh yeah, how about that? Is Tiny Whoop already arrived at the party? And music. Is music here? Just give me a minute. Sheesh is still up there. So yeah, I'd like to publish the Tiny Whoop music I have, but I'm not allowed to. Just gonna play this one for now. Sunny Days, you want to hear? So a quick poll: should I play Sunny Days again, or Never Gonna Stop Flying from Ben Shepherd? Madman votes for Sunny Days. Box, what are you thinking? What music do you want to hear? Oops. Box went away again.
What's up, my friend?
Mr. Rubble and Madmen are voting. Never gonna stop. Okay. It's 1-1 now. Next vote wins. Next vote wins. What's up, Box? What do you want to hear? Alright. Hooroo, Dr. Ben, Sunny Days. Okay. Sunny Days it is, my friends. I'm playing Sunny Days because at first it's a great song, but second it's one that I have the rights for. So I've purchased rights for this song on, I don't remember what site it is. I use a couple of sites where I give the artists I use a couple bucks if they somehow accept it. Some people, they just give you the rights to use their stuff. Some people want to have a little bit of money for it, and some people are super cagey about it, and oh no one should hear my music. I just made it for, I don't know who, but you can't have it. Sunny Days, my friends. Have a great week. See you later.
Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days. Sunny days and funny days. Sunny days. You are in my mind almost all the time. You mean
let's, instead of just playing the music, let me play this one here. Same song. A little bit of video on top of it. Other way. Hello, my friends. We were hanging out at the surf club. It was getting windy and the storm front started rolling in. And I thought it would be funny to use the last sunny moments to attach a streamer to a microquad. Turns out I was right. It was pretty funny.
Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days, honey days and funny days, sunny days. You are in my mind almost all the time. You mean so much to me. I love you and you love me. It's plain to see. On these sunny days, we go to the park and play. You can slide and swing, make a new friend. All the time you spend on sunny days. Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny days. So we wish for sunny days, honey days and funny days, sunny days. All winter long we've longed for sunny days. Wait for the grass to turn green. Birds are singing out their song and we can sing along. Won't you please sing along? Now you sing. Sunny days are sunny days. Sunny days can be funny days. We do what we want on sunny